Today, I get to introduce you to a dear friend and someone that I value so much in my own healing journey, Kristina Kastelanac of Bodywise Insights. Kristina teaches you to realize that the solution is within you, to take the necessary pressures off of your body, to learn how to be energized and present for your most important priorities and for your family, to learn how to unwind your emotions, thoughts, and behaviors through your own body. Bodywise Insights is here to support you in this learning so that you can catch yourself before you overreact with your kids or your partner or at work in unexpected and overwhelming situations, for you to be more engaged in everywhere that you show up, for you to feel more calm and peace internally, for you to feel more empowered to handle your overwhelming emotions. And she wants to support that body mind that so you can help unwind your triggers. Christina is here to help you understand the mind body connection and really truly lean into that to learn how to understand your triggers, process your triggers, and truly just feel more empowered and integrated. So please check out her programs at Bodywise Insights. And here's Christina. Can't wait to share this conversation. This is our first Christina conversation of 2025, although we've had Kristina Kastelanac as a guest before. So excited to welcome you back because this conversation for me is one of the most vital conversations that we can have as business owners, as leaders, as people. And so we're going to dive into body as your business partner and how do you trust your intuition? And this is something that Christina has and still is helping me evolve into knowing the knowing, like actually understanding how to be more attuned with my body and then understanding when I'm getting downloads from the universe or if something's nudging me, how to pay attention to that properly. So I'm really so in love with this conversation. And before we dive in, just a tiny little bit about Christina, and she can tell you more. But Christina is a holistic healthcare provider who has been working with individuals since 2010. Her clinical experience has clarified how crucial it is to understand and consider the function of the nervous system. And so she is a naturopathic doctor and she has a beautiful business called Bodywise Insights. And that's where we're going to dive in today of your body as your business partner. So, Christina, I'm just going to pass it over to you and help us understand why this even matters.
Mm. Wow, why does this matter?
Just the little questions first, because I like
Right.
to stay really, like, surface on things. So, like, why does this
It'll
even
be quick.
matter? Let's go there.
In 30 seconds.
30 seconds. Go.
Oh, it's crucial and important to know why whatever nudges, like we're talking about intuition today. Why is intuition important? And we all get these cues from our body. But if we don't know what it's really about or what it's trying to tell us, how do we then navigate through our lives? We kind of navigate based on past experiences, right? We kind of just go with this, riding these waves of fight flight responses, and we don't stop, settle, and notice where is this coming from?
Mm,
Why am I doing what I'm doing? And how do I learn how to navigate that so it doesn't look as messy? So I'm not just flying by the seat of my pants and acting, reacting, and rehashing the same lesson over and over and over again. So the importance of noticing what your intuitive nudges are trying to teach you is that you get to learn. You learn about things that are working, that are not working. You get to process it through the body. And then you approach situations in life and in business with a completely different perspective and outlook on it because
mm.
what's been holding you back from the past is no longer doing that.
We don't always hear it really. Like it's we want to understand that deep connection, and yet what we're doing is actually, I think, and you're going to dive deep in this. We are repeating the same situation over and over and over again because we're living based on the memories of the past versus creating a new relationship with our body, which will help us unfold something new and different for the future. I think that's how I take in what you said because this is so new. Like, I've been working with Christina now, probably it's up to 5 years now, and even just a couple of weeks ago, I said to you, "I don't know, still don't know fully when it's my head telling me," which me and my head have a great relationship, even though no thoughts are real, that's, I go to the head, really heady thought processes versus knowing when I'm in my body and experiencing that. So,
I and I think
help us even go there.
and I think a lot of people are right there with you in that because we
Mhm.
don't have an education, a felt sense education, not mind education on how to do this, how to navigate what's showing up from the subconscious and then just like coming up as this like vague sense. Like something's not quite right about this, or something's
Mm.
not quite feeling whatever. And oh, it kind of feels like the same fear I keep having over and over again. If you don't call it out and look at it, that awareness comes and it goes. And then you do the
Mhm.
same thing over and over again. If you can pause and with that beautiful, brilliant awareness that comes in every so often of that little nudge, and you stop everything and you train yourself to say, aha, here's the nudge. I have no clue what this is about. And then you stop and say, where is this nudge in my body? That's the beginning point of recognizing and learning that the body has a wealth of information to share with you, and the mind is amazing at sorting things through, organizing, planning. We know the places that it serves us really well.
Mhm.
Now we need to learn how and why the body can also serve us well.
Mhm. Oh, I wish we learned this as children. Honestly, like
Mm.
the 2 things if I could put in our education system would be learning to tap into our bodies and understanding it that our thoughts aren't actually always real, that they're, trickery. Mind fuckery, that's what they are. And, communication, I'd love to see that we explored those 2 things, but that's why we're here now because we have the beautiful Christina to help us with this. So, for me, it's how do I know the difference between it's my thoughts and it's my intuition? How do I know the difference? Because I
Yeah, that's
have
okay.
done a really good job for a long time of
Mhm.
allowing myself to believe that the thoughts I'm thinking are my intuition, and only just coming to know that that's not it. It's the tapping into the body. So help walk us through how we get into that practice and how we know the difference. That's again, small question. Small.
Right. Well, the first thing to do in that is to, when the thought arrives and it's a commonplace thought, notice if there's a sensation or emotion attached to that thought pattern.
Mm,
That can start to pull in the full experience of what that is doing to you, that thought pattern. What is it doing to you? What is it doing to your life? And sometimes it's going to be productive and helpful, and sometimes it's really not.
mm,
And so the beginning part would be every time that thought surfaces, here it is again, that inner critic is coming up. And then you say, oh, there's that inner critic, judging, whatever it's doing. And say, where do I feel this in my body? And you'll feel again subtle. If you don't have an experience of this, you want to go over and over again and build the ability for you to sense, oh, it's in my chest and it's tight. it's in my chest and it's tight. So that produces a constricted sensation within me. And you could ask questions like even asking the question and sitting with the sensations and saying, "Where does this come from?" With curiosity, not needing to know. Just, "I wonder where this comes from." And notice if information arrives. Again, not pulling, not yearning for it. Just notice the next little piece. Ooh, I feel, ooh, a little something, or and I see a tree, or it could be an image, it could be an emotion, it could be a person that pops into your head. And that's your intuition starting to unfold. And what you would do is follow it like breadcrumbs. So that's, and again, this is a process of learning. This is what I teach in all of my BodyWise programs and my mentorships that I run. It is, how do you start to do this step by step by step in a practical way? And then notice the results in your life, in personal and business life. That was one part of your question. What was the other?
I don't remember because I was so deeply in tune to what you were saying. 'Cause I'm already on to the next thought. And the next thought was, it is that you've said felt sense, that feeling, that sense. You've said those words a couple of times now, and, so that natural expression of emotion, feeling, connecting to the energy of what that feeling is you're having, it really, I believe, requires the pause. So as you're saying that, like, really get in tune. What I'm hearing you say is curiosity, pause, asking your body the questions, and yet we're living in a hyper go, 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 speed up. Oh, yeah, maybe I got a little nudge, but I don't have time for that right now. And so, one of the things for myself that, you've definitely amplified for me is having to create those moments for yourself and giving yourself permission when that nudge comes to pause. It's vital. It's the most important thing that you could do in a day is to catch the nudges and pause. So how do we even get to the point where we recognize the nudge is part of our intuition?
Ooh, man, how do you recognize that the nudge is part of your intuition?
Because it is, the nudge is actually our intuition saying, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa. Slow down, start asking some questions, get curious, come inside, get to the felt sense. I'm waiting for you. I'm here for you."
Yeah. I feel like often it's those people that have already engaged in some level of like they do some yoga or they do some meditation or they've tried a yoga nidra meditation or they've done something where
Mm,
they kind of at least are like, there's something there. Ooh, I'm noticing, right?
mhm,
I guess that's how you would begin the process is like, what will bring you down and settle you so that you are aware of the nudges that are occurring because they're happening all of the time. Your body's constantly communicating with you.
mm,
Every interaction you have with the human being will give you multiple nudges. Every day you are with your own mind and just there's a silent time, you're getting nudges. And so
mhm,
there's actually multiple, so many opportunities we have. So we could actually say, even right now, in the next 5 minutes, as you listen to us speaking, you'll get a nudge. As you hear me and Lori talking right now, you'll probably get a nudge.
mhm.
And what is that nudge telling you? One of a million things. But you get to decide which one you want to listen to and see if you can follow it all
The
of the time.
It's interesting because in business for so long, you hear this, "Follow your intuition." People that are the best leaders are the ones that follow their gut, AKA intuition. And yet there's no talk about connection to body or felt sense. So I find it so fascinating that, logically and practically we understand what we need, and yet emotionally we are so disconnected from that. And so I would say my gateway drug was My gateway drug is the start of a great sentence. My my gateway drug was movement. My gateway drug was getting out in nature and actually coming into tune with nature, and also, even though I would say, yeah, I can't meditate, I can't slow my brain down. Yeah, I can't see me doing yoga, that just say, like, I'm more of a hit workout kind of a girl." Really stepping into it even though it felt uncomfortable and doing some of those things very quickly. Nature's always been easy for me. That one's always been pleased. Like, I feel my intuition nudges me to nature when I really need to slow down, so that one. But the movement part of it where my body was craving something different so that I could hear my voice in a different way, that took a little more sort of yeah, pushed into, I would say. And yet that's when I started to really be able to tap into my body in a different way. So, I think it's different for all of us though, right? Wouldn't you say? Of like
Yeah,
what that opening is or the gateway to getting there.
it could very well be. I do use a lot of that in my meditations on my YouTube channel.
Mhm.
There's always these ways to get into your rest and digest. Because
Mm,
really, when we think about the nervous system, we have these patterns of fight, flight, and freeze, and we
mhm,
have rest and digest. When we are in the rest and digest state, that is our nervous system connection to our intuition, to healing, to source, to something higher. So if we can get into those zones, that's where the doors open. So whatever gets you into that zone, that's what will get you into your body and into noticing those nudges that are coming. So nature is one that I use a lot in my meditations. The body in physical space, feeling it in your chair, feeling your feet on the ground, that's, another great one. But really feeling your body and then orienting to the space around you and noticing that you're safe, that's another really good one. So anything that's gonna bring your system down, which is what you kinda touched on before, like, we're
mhm,
so go, go, go. There's so much distraction, so much, busyness that if you take a moment and stop all of that, you will notice your body will come in, right? Like you said with the yoga, it's like you got to slow down and it came screaming at you. I think if we can just turn off our phones all like for say 3 hours and don't do anything else, it will come screaming at you. You'll probably have some fight flight online, but as soon as you do whatever you do to bring in some like a nice cup of coffee or a great workout and then after the workout how you feel, those endorphins, that whatever it is, you do it, and then you start to feel how that feels inside, then your intuition will sort of naturally pop up.
mhm. That's so interesting. I do vividly remember, and you talk to so many people about this, you won't remember, but I vividly remember when we have some trails out by us, so I was taking these walks all the time through COVID, and you said to me, "And are you walking with a podcast or music, or are you walking in silence so you can actually hear everything in nature?" And I was like, "Well, touche, Christina. I definitely am walking, listening to the podcast because, I have to achieve something while I'm out for my walk." And so you gave me the opportunity to practice going without the AirPods, without the phone, and really just being in nature. And for me, when I go up north to our cottage, I'm able to do that because we are off the grid. So I at least have that opportunity and experience of what that looks like. So that was a little bit of a closer gap for me to say, "Oh, right. Let's do it that way instead." And really starting to then feel into that felt sense of what's happening, and the body could take nature in a very different way than when I was just, kind of in the I'm listening, I'm not paying attention to nature, I'm just out in nature is very different. I wanna go to, something that happened recently that we were working on, because I've really noticed that I'm getting stronger downloads and intuition, and so I think sharing the story might, and you can unwrap sort of what the meaning of it is. So, Christina and I were working on, I get these dizzy spells, and, it is there's a physical part to it, for sure, like something to do with the neck, and how long it's been going on and how cyclical it is. We've come to understand there is an emotional part to it as well. And so I was having one of these dizzy spells, and I was with Christina, and she asked me to ask my body, the question, what am I seeking? Because when the dizzy spells happen, my eyes really flutter back and forth really, really quick. And so your intuition nudged you to say, ask your body this question. And as I asked my body this question, the eyes stopped this back and forth fluttering. And ever since, when I get this fluttering motion, I ask the same question, and the dizzy spells are further and further apart now. And instantly, it's so fascinating to me. Instantly, the fluttering stops. Instantly, the dizzy stops. So it was really this opportunity to understand I was in some sort of fight flight in that moment, which was causing this fluttering. And so by me tuning into my body now in those moments to say, whereas my past would be like, why is this happening? This is so frustrating. I'm scared. I don't understand. I want it to go away. Lots of, so I had moved past that. This has been going on for years. I had moved past that now to just be an allowance, but being in the allowance wasn't helping either. So this question, and I don't need the answer, I think that's important to clarify. I don't, it's more the felt sense of, okay, what I'm seeking is safety. What I'm seeking is, because there's clearly a fear, like a flight freeze thing going on. So it's in that moment, being able to ask that has really started to shift things. So that for me is like, wow, really the opportunity to see. And since I've been doing that, these downloads have been coming faster in the work I do. Cause I always kind of get the divine downloads, but they're coming clearer and faster. So help us, like there is a real life experience where I think we all want that, where we can tap in deeper. So unwind that one.
I mean, I would just be like, at least when you're speaking, I got an intuitive nudge of, I wonder, I get curious. And so with that curiosity, I would ask questions, right? And notice where does it land for you? And then you get this feeling of right? That lands. And then you know you're on the right track,
Mhm.
right? So I would ask, okay, so when you're in that fight, flight mode, it must be your nervous system, like you say,
Mhm.
seeking something, and you would continue to inquire about the system like, "Okay, what are you searching for?" And you could ask that part further, things like, "Did you ever find it?
Mhm.
If you found it, what would that feel like?"
Mhm.
Again, you don't need to know the answers, but give your body what it wants. Give your body what it needs. What would that feel like? And if you had it all the time and forever and you could never lose it, what would that experience be like? And so then again, as you hear me say that, feel your own body and you start to see, what does it do? How does it unravel, continue to unravel the charge that is pent up in that moment in your physical structure and in your nervous system. So this is how we do it, just like nudge at a time, inquire with curiosity, notice what happens, name what you, because really the pivotal part there was, my eyes are really moving quickly. You noticed it. It's in that noticing and saying, yeah, that happens a lot. Oh my, like, yes, it does happen a lot. And we can get frustrated at it, or we can say, wait a second. Wonder what this is about. And then where's this response going? What is the body really trying to figure out or do right now? Then get it, you want to try and help it to complete itself or further to the next thing, really,
Mhm.
right? But what I got so interested in when you said, as you've been doing this now, more downloads are coming in, that makes me really curious about these dizzy spells maybe being this information that's trying to either go one way or another way,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
transmit, energy from the seventh chakra into the body or up, right?
Mhm.
So again, it just gets me curious. Like maybe it's a movement of energy up or down that really
Mhm.
throws that area of your body off. There's too much going on in that space.
Mhm.
So again, that would just be a curiosity you follow. And that if
Mhm.
you can hold that for yourself, no matter what's happening, no matter whoever is experiencing anything, if you can just name something and say, yes, my shoulders are up at my ears today. Okay, I don't have to change it at all. Look, my shoulders are up at my ears. What am I feeling about that? I'm feeling panicked. I want this, I want to rip something, you know? Okay, wow, imagine you're ripping something. Like it's really just following these impulses in the body and then notice how it responds. And then you get to see where it comes from eventually. When all of the puzzle pieces start to come together, the meaning arrives.
Mhm. It's
Does
That's so bang on. What a beautiful quote. Because what I have absolutely noticed, and when you said like there's something else at play there, well, I think the spiraling in the mind, the spiraling in the thoughts, the over analyzing, all of that, so the energy stuck in the head causing dizziness versus the opportunity to get curious moves you into your body, and now it's not just stagnant up in the head. Now I've got energy flowing up and down and, all through every part of my body to support me instead of everything being heavy up in the head. And I think the other really interesting thing for me is, we are very blessed in Canada to have an incredible medical system. So I always the caveat, we have an incredible medical system, but our medical system is for when we're very sick and you have heart disease, you need some help. You've had a heart attack, you need some help. You've got a broken bone, you need to get to a hospital and get some support. But I've been so perplexed for a couple of decades now about how do we actually support ourselves before we need that medical system. And even these dizzy spells, of course, our natural is go hit the medical system, go get all the tests, see what's quote unquote wrong, and going through all of that. So I've been through all of the testing. And I wonder how many people are listening that they've had something going on health wise, especially our high achieving leaders that go, go, go is, there is, whether we like the word or not, a lot of stress in the system. And actually, Christina's going to be a quarterly guest for us. And I believe it's our next time together next quarter. We're going to go deep on stress. Again, high achievers like to say, I don't have stress. Like I would even say, if you ask me if I'm highly stressed, I'm like, no, I've never experienced stress. Okay, well, clearly my body has, right? Like it's taken it in, even though my mind again is telling me, no, no, you're good. You're like, just keep going. And so I find that the I said this to a team this week. We talk so much about this work being the soft skills, the soft work, this is the hard work. This is the hard stuff. It's business is simple, people. Like there's no question to me, business is simple. People are complicated. Learning how to actually tune into our bodies as our business partners is the hard work because it's so much simpler to run off to the doctor and be like, please find something to fix me. And it takes consistent practice and choosing to go inward to do the work that actually, though, is the freedom and the fulfillment and the peace and where real joy can be experienced. So I am so passionate about this now because I've had crazy times in my life where I've gone through that medical system and had no answers. And I know people listening feel the same way. So listening to Christina when you haven't done this stuff can feel really uncomfortable. She has made me very uncomfortable, and I'm so grateful for it because it's walking through those moments of uncomfortable with you that have actually given me the keys to the opportunity to experience more joy, more fulfillment, more truth, more knowing of who I am than any strategy course or anything else I've done in my life.
So there's always a compromise.
Mm.
Body is going to suffer and you'll have a diagnosis of some kind. That's a suffering and a struggle. And to take medication and to have the side effects, that's a journey and a struggle. And if you stop and pause and face the shit that shows up, it's also a struggle. And it might be of equal weight, right? As you have to face it all. But the payoff is health, longevity, happiness, gratitude, feeling actually more yourself than ever before. That's the payoff. Versus I've managed a disease for now,
Mm.
right? And so if we can, the it is very, very challenging. And it does take a lot of courage. And oftentimes our bodies will keep pushing us. You'll start to get little pebbles thrown at you, like this hurts and that hurts, and ooh, this symptom and that symptom. And then it gets worse, and then it gets worse, and then it gets worse. And then it's diagnosable, right? It's subclinical for a long time before it's diagnosed. And so if you listen when it's subclinical, there's a lot more you can do about it, and it's functioning poorly. So how can we start to peel those layers back versus end result? And now you're suffering, and you can still do a lot there, but so much better that if you're struggling with something and you've already navigated the medical system and it's all clear, it's not a disease. That's your okay, yay. Now I get to face this from the inside out and actually prevent anything from happening.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's incredible. The other experience I've had with Christina, which I think is hilarious, is whenever I would do something with you, my tummy would, like, growl, just, like, growl. I'm so hungry, and I've never experienced hunger. I don't know why it's not an expression. Oh, I know why now. I could never figure out why I could not eat for a whole day, which was one of my really bad habits, because I was just too busy, ambitious leader, just too busy to eat. Oh my gosh, please eat, people. So I definitely trained my body to be super confused by, maybe eating randomly one meal at dinner back in the days. I don't do this anymore. It's been a long time ago. But I'd start working with you and you'd start asking these questions and having me tune into my body, and I get these intense hunger pains. And so I just thought for sure I needed to go have a chocolate chip cookie or something, but that wasn't what I was actually saying. I'm joking. But not. I actually thought I was just hungry at first until you really helped me understand the whole rest and digest. And what it was actually is my body waking up. So finally, I now use that as a little sign of intuition because I can hear the hunger now. I can get into those moments of rest and digest that then I realize the downloads coming to me are coming from intuition versus in my mind. So, yeah, I love these like growls now. It growls at me.
So when it growls, then do you notice the downloads while it's growling?
Mhm.
So that's that rest and digest, and you're able to receive.
which is so new for me, new the last 5 years or so, but such a new feeling back to the felt sense. So now I have a felt sense, then I recognize and I can recognize in those moments, I'm not spiraling in my thoughts. I can be in my body. So this is so powerful, this work.
And I mean, the beauty part about all of this is even if you just build this in a little bit now and then, your body takes it and runs with it. Like it is
Mhm.
there, ready and waiting and go because it will go to whatever needs to be healed, right? It will digest. It will whatever heal that sore throat. It will do what it needs to do when you come into that place. So I I I love that you're able to start to feel into that more and the benefits to your business and to your life with all these downloads of
Mhm.
when you slide into that place, how it's starting to change your the world around you.
Yeah, so for people listening who are going, "Oh, okay, it's time. It's time. This has ignited something, inspired something, sparked some curiosity." What would the first step be for them?
Good question. Well, you can check things out on the YouTube channel I have and my website and Instagram. I really just it's nice to start to listen to these things over and over again, to start your wrapping your head around it, to get the intellectual mind on board is also good because then you need the buy-in from the mind. Like, okay, fine, it'll pay off. Maybe this is worth it. And then you can say, "Okay, body, and how do you feel about it?" Ooh, my heart opens up when I hear her talking about this, right? Then you know mind and body are on board, and you start to explore and experiment. I just uploaded one YouTube video that is how do you move from the mind to the body, right? And so that can be your first step on how do we slow down so that and how do I do that? How do I do it? And what happens once we do it? It's like a quick 5, 7 minute meditation, and we get deep into the body, and then you sit there for a little bit and you start to see how the mind is different from this perspective. And you start to feel how the body, what the sense is in there when you're sitting in there. And so it's a quick little first intro on what happens when you get into your body. And you can just even do that now and again is a lovely little piece to try. But if you're already someone that is knows that you're getting nudges, then the next piece would be ask yourself the question when you get a nudge, ask yourself, see if you can pause and say, what part of me is this? Is this uh, something that's familiar and common? Then that probably is likely something from your past. Or does this feel really new and out of the blue? Then, okay, wait a second. This is something exciting and new, perhaps something to track and follow. But usually it's something old and familiar that you'll be like, here it is again. And that's your cue to listen, notice what's happening inside, and see where it might be coming from. I think this is maybe a further conversation because we have so many sources of wisdom within our own bodies. We can go deep on like, where is this? Is this an inner child piece? Is this a wounded part piece? Is this my a parent coming in? Is this higher self? Is this source energy? Is this a belief from a mind body connection? So there's all these different things you can ask yourself. And that's just a short list on what the hell is coming up here, right?
But
Yeah, that
that's
would be
great, and yes, that's definitely let's do a podcast on just that because I know for myself, I'm really it that's new for me, that's new information of where is this coming from and how do I tap into that deeper, so love that. To be continued. So you can find Christina, as she said, we'll put the links in the show notes. Love listening to her quick videos. They are nice, digestible daily type of intakes that will just get you starting on this to take that first step. And then from there, as your curiosity expands, is looking at her Body Wise Insights program, which I've taken. It's really powerful. And so I'm just so grateful for you, Christina, and thank you for the conversation today. I am so passionate about us coming to understand that our body is our business partner. And you're such a beautiful blessing in the work that you do of helping us step into that truth and learning more about ourselves. So thank you just for being you and sharing your gifts with the world. It's so incredible. And we look forward again to having you as a quarterly guest so you can keep us on this journey. Do you have a last insight you want to share?
Um, well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you, Lori, for saying all of those beautiful, sweet things. And I just take that into my heart. And I am so grateful to be speaking every time I talk to you. I'm so, so happy and grateful. And to really just be sharing this. Like I just have such this expanded sense in my own chest when I get to share with people that they have the ability to do this. They have the ability to learn. And it might seem like a long road, but it's peppered with gold along the way. Like you're picking things up and you're you're bringing them in for the first time ever and it feels so quenching really of an experience to really be getting in touch with your own body. Yeah, so I think that's it in a nutshell of what I wanted to share today.
Amazing. Thank you so much again for being here. Mwah. Big love. And for all of you, we'll help you connect with Christina, and we'll see you next time on the show.